the sun, but it doesn't look very good. Dang it. Yeah, better.
Behind closed doors, I'm a fool for your love.
Hi! I guess this is kind of the same. And by the way, when I edited this video, I saw that there was this plant literally behind me. This is another plant, it's also literally behind me. I do not mind. Today's video is a video that I filmed a couple of months ago when we were still in the intelligent lockdown. And it was supposed to be a part of last week's vlog. But even while filming it, I realized that it was way too long and that it could be a video of its own. So I decided to create it into a video of its own. But I hadn't made an intro and an outro, so that's why I'm filming this a couple of months later in July. What else? No, I'm gonna start the video and I will see you in the outro. As you know, in July, you know so much more than we do right now. The coronavirus is still going on, which means we aren't allowed to go anywhere really, apart from going to supermarket and you know, things that you have to do and things you need to go to. But other than that, we have to stay at home. So I want to talk about a few recommendations for things you can do at home. Yesterday evening we played Elfenland. I also talked about that on my Instagram, so if you want to follow me on Instagram, that's it. And by the way, all of my contact links and stuff are in the description below. So when I was younger, we had this game, Elfenland. I loved it. The first time I played it was when I was 7 or something. And yeah, it has been my favorite board game since forever. But a few months ago, we also played Ticket to Ride. And apparently, I didn't know that, it's kind of the same game. It's not the same, but like you get the same vibe. And then it turned out it was from the same makers, or like the same man had that idea. So his name is on the box. I don't know if he has made the entire game, but that was quite cool. So Ticket to Ride and Elfenland, highly recommend if you're looking for board games. But right now I wanted to talk about something else. Books. By the way, if I do this and you think that's weird, then sorry, not sorry, I do that all the time. I can't really hold my mug because my hand is a bit handicapped. And that's why. Side note. Anyway, I'm going to talk about the books right now. The first book I want to talk about, All the Bright Places. All the Bright Places is quite a popular book, or it was quite a popular book, especially a couple of years ago. I heard a lot of good reviews and I was like, let's just buy it myself. So I bought this book online and I loved it, had a little cry. A couple of times actually I had a little cry, but overall it was just a really good book. Talks about depression and stuff. And there's also a movie, but I don't know if I want to watch the movie because I really love the book, and now the book and the characters and stuff, they are in my head and I don't want to ruin that by a movie. So if you've seen the movie and you really, really liked it, then comment down below that I need to watch it. If it's an okay movie, then I don't really want to watch it because the book was real good. I'll tell you what it's about. It's about girl, really popular girl with her really popular life. Like she has a boyfriend and a lot of friends, and you know, everybody likes her. And she loses her big sister in a car accident. And then this guy is a very non-popular guy, quite weird. Everyone thinks he's a loser. And they meet at the top of a tower at school because she wants to commit suicide. And then the friendship begins. Not really at that point, but almost. So then they start a friendship, blah blah blah, and so on. And the rest is just very interesting, eye-opening, and just a good book in general. Also, if you want to read more English books, if you're Dutch, especially the violet parts are very easy to read in English. Strange is the boy. In his parts there are quite a lot of difficult words because that's just the way he thinks. Like when you're in his thoughts in the book, then it can be a bit difficult sometimes. It's a good read in English as well. But there is a translated version in Dutch, so for the Dutch viewers, if you want to read it in Dutch, then that's possible as well. The next book, Kleine, naar, is originally English, but I've read it in Dutch. I got this book from my mum. She highly recommended it to me and then gave it to me as a birthday present. It is, the original is called The Other Hand. The actual translation is little bee, but that's not what it's called. It's The Other Hand, if I'm right. I don't want to say too much about it, but it's about a girl from Nigeria and a woman from London, and they meet on a beach in Nigeria in a horrible way. Especially that part of the book was really a page turner. Like at that point my mum asked me to come for a brunch, I guess. She said, hey, if brunch is ready, and I was like, I really can't come. And because she had given me the book, so she knew what I was talking about, and she was like, well, just read. So I could continue reading, which was good. That's where they meet, and then a couple of years later they meet in London again, under total different circumstances, and it is also very eye-opening. Like if your country is super dangerous and you go to a country like England, but also the Netherlands, the country itself is a very good country, but because of your circumstances, not a lot of people will give you the right opportunities, and life isn't that good for you if you come from circumstances like that, if you get what I mean. This book gives you quite a good insight of that, which is new for me. So that was interesting. Just try. Another book that's originally English, but I've read it in Dutch, is Weg naar huis. Weg naar huis is originally called Homegoing. Super interesting book. Maybe one of the best books I've ever read. Also from my mum, but this book is from my mum. Like the other book, she had read it, she got it from the library, and she was very enthusiastic about it, so that's why she bought the book for me. Whilst this one is just her book, and I've read her book. Oh my goodness, this was such a good book. It's about two girls from Ghana. They are half sisters, but they don't know that. So they've got the same mum, but they don't know. And it's in, what year is it? Honest, I don't know. It's something like 14 something or 15 something. Like really long ago. One of the girls marries an Englishman that works at the castle because it was a colony back then. So she marries him, and then the other girl becomes a slave. They put her on a boat to America, and then so the first chapter is from that first girl's perspective, the second chapter is from that second girl's perspective, then the third chapter is from the child of the first girl's perspective, then the fourth chapter is from the child of the second girl's perspective, and then the fifth chapter is from the child of the, like that. So every time you read about the next generation, last chapters are in 2000 something, so there's a lot of generations, and then one part is from Ghana and the other part is in America, and in both parts you can read about slavery every single time in every single generation, and even when slavery is in the past, you can just feel and hear and everything, like you can just still feel and hear that there is no equality at all. Every single chapter, at first you have to really get into the story, but then when because it's a new person with a new life, but then when you get into it, it's like, oh, I don't want this chapter to end because that's all I can get from that person's life, really. Like, it's super interesting, really highly recommend. And then this book, Rode Sneeuw in December, translated that's Red Snow in December, but I don't think there's an English version of it. It's a Dutch book, also maybe one of the best books I've ever read, quite thick. It's about a girl in also 1400 something, 1500 something in the Netherlands, and she is a Christian but her family is Catholic, so they abandon her, and then she marries a Christian as well. And it's also like the start of the book, oh, it's in 1550, and the end is in 1578. So much happens in those years. It's crazy. It's also very interesting, like you have to love history if you want to love this book, but it's very interesting because it's in the time that we were in war, the Netherlands. They were in war with Spain, and we do learn about that in school, but not in the way that this book describes it. Like, for example, the Second World War. There are so many books and movies about that, also from different points of view, from different people in the Netherlands. It's not like you only learn about the subject in the books at school. Like, because you have those movies, because you have those books, you know the entire story. Like, I don't know. It's just, that's what so many people love about the Second World War, is there's so much information, there's so much to see and to read, that you really get the information in ways that you find interesting as well. Then with the First World War, the Netherlands didn't really do much, so there isn't a lot to read about that or to see. And then this is from so many years before that we don't really know that much about it. Well, it's super interesting because we were in war for 80 years. So, well, personally, I find that super interesting. Really good book. Learned a lot about the first king of the Netherlands as well. And it's a good read. So now with quarantine, we have to stay inside all the time, or most of the time. And there is so much time that personally I get really inspired to do things that I don't do normally. For example, reading. I have more time to read right now. So that's what I do. And at the moment I'm reading 2 books at the same time. Personally, I'm not a big fan of reading 2 books at the same time when the books are quite similar. So for example, if you've got a fiction book and a fiction book, then you get into one story and then the other story comes, I don't know, it's very confusing for me and a bit chaotic. So what I've done these two books are totally different, and that's why I can read two at the same time. This book is a very, very popular book. Dingen die je alleen ziet als je er de tijd voor neemt. Originally it's called The Things You See Only When You Slow Down. The Things You See Only When You Slow Down. I guess that's it. This is such an inspiring book for life, but personally, when reading this, I have to stop after 4 or 5 pages. At the start, he says that as well, like, don't read this in one go. So you have to stop after a couple of pages to really think about what you've just read and to give it a place within your heart and within your life, if that makes sense. I am almost halfway. With those kind of books, I feel like there's so much wisdom that is given to you that you almost feel wise after reading it. Like, you people, you're just normal, but I have got wisdom in my head. I don't know. If you're into those kind of books, I highly recommend it, but personally, I love it. And then, oh, by the way, this book, just because it was very popular, so I bought this one myself, and this book, got it for my mum. My mum doesn't give me that many things, but when it comes to books, most books that are given to me by my mum. And then this book is from my friend Tessel, who introduced herself the other day at her house after dinner, if you remember, in February. And this book is originally an English book called House Rules. This is the Dutch version, the andere zoon. And it's about this autistic guy from 18 years old that really, really loves rhymes and everything about it. But because he's autistic, he has Asperger's, he is very obsessed with it. And then because his social parts aren't very developed, he has this girl that helps him with that, and then when she dies, it becomes such a page turner because you really don't know what has happened, and there's so much going on. It's just a very interesting book. It's very thick, but I'm halfway and I can't wait to end it. Thank you, Tessel, for lending me this amazing book. By the way, she read it before me, and because it's her book, and she was so enthusiastic about it. We were walking outside, and she talked about it for quite a long time, and then she was like, it's such a good book, you have to read it. So yeah, and I'm so glad she talked about it, and now I'm reading it because it is amazing. And by the way, shout out to her because she is reading this book at the moment. Also because of quarantine, because everybody needs to stay inside. That's it. Talk for way too long. This can be a video of its own. Maybe I should make this into a video of its own. Should I? I guess. I don't know. I'll decide in July. So yeah, you can see I was typed in. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give a thumbs up. It really helps. Subscribe if you haven't already, and put the bell notification thingy on to get notified every time when I post a video. And yeah, other than that, I hope I'll see you next time again, and bye.